Okay, so last week I was saying we talked about Claude and some of the things that it can do for us. And ironically, since then, ChatGPT just had a major update. Have you guys heard about the update? Does anybody know what the update is? No. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you. I was like, of course that would happen as soon as I learned how to use Claude. So it's called ChatGPT Work. Um, Along with the new models, it's got like a website building feature called Sites, and it's expanded access to Codex, which is basically what, if you're a developer, you're going to really like that because it's more like coding, obviously. But I'm not going to just give you a list of the new features. We're going to really dive into this and kind of go step by step with a few things. But what I feel is like most important for us is like, is this something that's going to save us time? It's going to save us money. So I just want to walk us through it step by step. So by the end of this, you should understand the difference between ChatGPT and Claude if you don't already, including, some of the new features they have now. So just hang tight and we will get into it. So now remember that like ChatGPT and these other, you know, AI programs, they tend to roll out new features kind of gradually. They're obviously trying to improve on it all of the time. Um, and two people can have like a paid plan and still see kind of slightly different things within the AI models. So if your screen doesn't look exactly like mine, like don't let that worry you too much. Let me make sure that you can see because I do have two browsers open for some reason. And I don't want to close the other one. But anyway, let me know. Can you guys see my screen right now? Can you see my chat? I have ChatGPT up. Okay, so I'm going to assume that everyone can see what I'm doing. Okay, so everybody, if you want to follow along with me, if you have ChatGPT, whether you have the paid plan or free, have that pulled up right now. Go ahead and log in. Because if you don't log in, it's not going to save like your memory and stuff. I had to go over that with my mom because she was like, "Oh, I use ChatGPT," but she wasn't logging in. So like, it's like, you're giving yourself so much more work to do because you want it to. It has the capacity to remember things, and it just defeats the purpose if you don't log in. So log in. I do have the paid version of this, so if it does look a little different than yours, it's okay. Um, and it has changed a little bit. Like, so there's more things over here. You've got plugins now, sites, and stuff like that. And so if you look at it here, we have the chat, which we're all used to using, and work. Work is the new one. But I want to start out with saying what the most important distinction is. So the regular chat is obviously what we're used to. It's just primarily conversation that you're going to have with your AI. And it's this and the ChatGPT work is you can help you can like actually create things in work. So it's pretty cool. Um, it can handle like documents, presentations, websites. So that's cool. So instead of you saying like, give me 5 ideas for a buyer's guide, which is what we would maybe usually do in the chat section, you would go to work and you can say complete, create the buyer's guide for me, organize the sections, write the copy, create a checklist, and turn it into a polished document. So that's kind of the difference between those two. Um, for most of us, ChatGPT Work is going to be the better place for assignments that we want to do. Like, let me just click on it so you guys can see it in case you haven't looked at that yet. So that is what it looks like. But you can create a listing campaign, making a buyer or seller guide. You can compare several different properties, organize transaction information, create a presentation, um, stuff like that. So uh, on the left, we're going to see new chat, library projects, scheduled tasks, and then you have the plugins and the other tools here. So I already went over that. So there's this thing that says projects. This is useful if you want to keep like related files and conversations together. So for example, you could create a project called like 606 Higgins Road offer. Then your files and instructions and any conversation you've had about that is going to stay together right there instead of being scattered throughout your history. And this is, if you're looking at this and you're like, what is this? You can pin your different conversations. And last week we had talked about creating AI employees. And so that's what these are over here. So anytime, you know, I'm needing help as like a marketing director, something like that, or a listing assistant. I've just kind of named them all. That way I can go to that chat and it knows exactly what I need. The prompt is like very, very detailed. So if you haven't set that up already, I do recommend that. And that was in last week's video. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. But let's simplify the model choices. So while we are in the work section, which is the new thing, you're going to see things like soul. Is that how you say it? And there's other options you'll see when you click this over here. Soul medium, soul high, soul extra high. Okay, so I kind of leave it at soul light. Yours might be at Terra Light if you don't have the paid version, because some of these are going to take more memory and some of them are going to take like paid version. So, but there's different ones too. There's Luna is fast and least expensive. Terra is pretty balanced. Soul is very capable. So that's kind of the differences. It's just based on basically which of the paid or free versions that you have. So let's see. Oh, now this is a newer thing. If you haven't seen this before, they're now showing us what our usage is, which I've seen some people like complaining about that. Let me see, where I see usage at? Is it where oh, let's see. Let me click on my name. Might be in settings. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. So you go to your name, go to settings, and then all of this type of stuff is going to come up. You can, obviously make this however you want it, but I wanted to talk about usage. So I'm going to click usage right here. And then, so one thing I've heard about the ChatGPT Work section is that it uses more of your usage limit. We're going to find out how much it actually gives you for a few different tasks, because I'm going to go through and do one while we're on our live stream. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to create a buyer's guide and see how much of the usage limit it limits me. You can also have credits that'll go toward that. But what I've heard people say is that it uses a lot of your usage limits. So that's why I'm like, we'll see. Let's just see how much it uses. Because people have said like it really eats it up. So I don't know. We will find out together. So let's see. I did that. Obviously, you're also probably going to get a notification when you're getting close to approaching your limit on that. And the limits can change, so you don't have to memorize a particular number. I just want you to know where to look for it. So we're gonna make a buyer's guide. So you're gonna click on work right here, which we're already there. And then we have a prompt that I'm going to, it's a lot. So all these prompts are like really, where is it? Social media, I think. Okay, so let me go over to my prompt. Take me a second to like, let's see, where is it? It's like paste this prompt. Where are you? Oh yeah. Okay. Paste this prompt. All right. Okay, so as you can see, it starts out saying create a polished, client-friendly home buyer guide for a Georgia real estate agent serving Metro Atlanta and surrounding areas. You can obviously like customize that however you want, but I'm just gonna copy this. It's saying do not give legal advice. Okay. All right. And I'm gonna copy that, and then I'm gonna go back to the new chat and make sure I'm on work. And I'm gonna put the prompt in here. And we'll see what happens. Go send prompt. Okay. So what we've done is we gave it the audience that we want to target, the location, the tone, the required sections that we want, and compliance boundaries, which is really important. So, and I also told it not to write the whole thing until I approve the outline, because that way you're not having to keep redoing it and it's using up all of your usage credits, if that makes sense. Okay. So once it gives me the outline, we're going to look for missing pieces. So for example, did it mention that buyers shouldn't open new credit accounts? Does it explain that the inspection is not the same as the appraisal? Does it explain that the inspection is not the same as appraisal? I just said that. Does it avoid giving legal advice? Or make sure that it's not doing that. And does it explain like a buyer broker agreement? And this is where your expertise matters, because AI is not replacing us. It's just giving us a strong first draft. So then you can do a follow-up prompt, which it's giving us a lot here, as you can see, under contract. I mean, it's going through the whole thing. And we have a follow-up prompt. And here it is. Let's see. So I'm going to say add a section called what not to do before closing, including changing jobs or quitting jobs, opening new credit accounts, or closing credit accounts, financing furniture, making large deposits without documentation, keep the language calm rather than alarming. And I'd also probably say something like, and make it sure it sounds like, oops, like me, a real estate associate broker. Um, with a background in film. Okay, so and then you can also add your branding. So I'm gonna put brand the guide for and then put your info. So Tris Sutherland, associate, broker, Solace Realty. And then remember. Okay. I forgot to silence my phone. Okay, and once you have that, then you can put brand style. Polished, feminine, let's see. Sophisticated and warm. Okay. I can't see what I'm doing. Okay. So when it's sophisticated and warm, use blush pink or whatever colors you want. Okay. Soft. We're just gonna see what this looks like. White and deep charcoal as the suggested visual palette. All right, so position the agent as a strategic, client-focused guide. Oops. Guide with a background in film and storytelling. Do not make the film background overpower the real estate expertise. So same thing for you guys. Like, I definitely think so. These kind of things really encompass everything of who we are. I don't believe that we should be separating those parts of ourselves in real estate. So, like, if you also do other things, like incorporate that in, kind of like here, just replace what I wrote here with whatever is unique to you. Could be baking, or anything like that. And then again, at the end, just make sure you tell it not to overpower the real estate expertise. Okay. Um, and then let's see, make my brand line from film sets to forever homes. I have mine right now. It's like from film sets to real estate, but I also like from film sets to forever homes. You should have like a tagline, guys. If you don't have a tagline, you need to create one today because you should have one. That should be one of the first things that you do. It is important. So you can also upload your logo to this. So you can put like pictures, you can add files and stuff. You can do it right here. Add photos and files. So you can do that. You can upload your, headshot, or even you can upload an old buyer's guide that you had. You can put it here. Let me see. Pretty cool. So that's the choices that you can do, add photos and files. And then if you're ready, you can go and create the final document. So we can put write the complete guide. Oops. Now keep paragraphs brief. use clear headings and create practical checklist. Make it detailed enough to be valuable, but easy for a consumer to skim through. Then, create it as an editable document. So yeah, this can create, finished documents, spreadsheets, and presentations from your instructions and your source materials. So when the document shows up, then you can review it and say, page 3 is long, make page 3 shorter, remove this paragraph, change the tone, things like that. Let me see if I know we do this with like chat, obviously you can add photos, but I just want to see if I can upload one of my photos and kind of, let's see. Where's that folder? There it is. Okay. Let's just try this one. Okay. Okay. So let me go ahead and we're going to send this prompt. I know it was a lot, but the more detailed you can be in one prompt, the less usage it's going to use for you. So cool. It's thinking. Booklet. I'm keeping the film connection subtle. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it might take a few minutes to do that, but once you have the completed buyer's guide, then there's other things you can do with it. So you could do a 5 email buyer education sequence. You could do 10 Instagram reel hooks from it, a 7-slide Instagram carousel, a 1-page home tour checklist. You could do like a short script for a first time buyer consultation. You could do a Facebook post offering the buyer's guide as a free resource. You can also like create a link for it, put it in your stories for people to download. And you can host that within Go High Level. I already have one that I do that with. So every once in a while, I'll like put it on my story. That way people can click on it and download it. Okay. And then it can also give you text message ideas that you can send to new buyer leads. So you just want to keep is this still thinking? Yes. You just want to keep the information consistent with the guide. So don't invent anything like fees or deadlines or contract terms, stuff like that. But this is where ChatGPT Work is going to become really useful for us, because one reliable source document like we are creating right now can become a guide. It can help you with emails, a consultation script, a social campaign, a checklist, a lead magnet, and a client follow-up. So this is a real workflow that we can work just from one document. So I think it's pretty cool because it's more than just asking AI for random stuff. So, and then you can also even build a website off of this, but I don't really want to go over that today because we all of us already have websites. and we have our sites through luxury presence. And so there's really no need to go over that. But if you did need to build a website, that is a possibility, but we can also do it and go high level. So again, not a whole lot of need for us to do that, but it does have that option. So um, okay. Yeah, so it's going through a website, but here's like five more things that I think that you would generally use pretty often. So you could do a listing launch campaign. So you could create a 7-day listing launch campaign from your property information. So your social post, email, reels, an open house plan, and a seller update. Just don't invent property features, like obviously. An inspection summary organizer. You can organize an inspection report into major concerns, safety concerns, routine maintenance, and optional improvements, which honestly, I've got to like silence that. That is not working for me. Okay. Let me see where we're at on here. Okay, it says our buyer's guide is right. Download the editable work guide. Oh, sweet. Okay, so we're gonna look at that in a minute. But as far as the inspection report goes, like I feel like this is again maybe something that not all of us will use because uh, some of the inspectors, wow, why is it not silencing? Some inspectors that you use, like their reports are very good and they kind of already do that. So, but you can also offer like a comparison worksheet. So you can create an editable offer comparison table and then just use only the attached offer. So you just include price, financing, earnest money, all of that. Just don't recommend an offer until all of that's verified. Um, you can do a seller preparation plan. So based on the property photos and your notes, you could create a prioritized pre-listing plan divided into must do, helpful, and optional. Honestly, this whole list is things that we should be able to do already. But you know, AI can do it for you. You can also do a neighborhood guide. So you can research and draft a neighborhood guide using current sources. Um, you know, you can tell it to focus on transportation, public amenities, stuff like that. So that one might be really useful, especially if you're not super familiar with the neighborhood. And even make comparisons of the different, not really comparisons, but just telling the differences in each of the neighborhoods. So maybe, and that would make a good post for social media too. Just be like, oh, okay, so that neighborhood is close to this. They offer this kind of stuff, or I don't like golfing, and so I don't need that golfing. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot of things like that you can do with it. But let's look at this really quick. So we do have our buyer's guide done. So let's see what this looks like. Kind of scared to click. Oh, wow. Okay. Georgia home buyer guide. Okay, so they made it 19 pages. Is it like from Phil Sets to Forever Homes? That's cute. Okay, so that's the first page. Can you guys all see that? If you can't, please yell at me. But anyway, that's page one. Okay, a note from Tris. That's so cool. There's a little disclaimer at the bottom. Hey, how cool is that? Okay. Home buying journey. Wow. That's not too bad. You know what I'd probably personally do is I would probably go into Canva and like change that first page. Um, but the rest of this looks pretty good. Financing and appraisal. But yeah, like go in it and make sure like everything is accurate. But this is crazy, actually. It looks pretty good. But you could even do like, when you're doing your prompt, if you want it in a specific, font or something like that, you could tell it to do it in that font. But this is cool. Okay, I kind of want to go through this, go through. What not to do before closing. Okay. This is very cool. Home tour checklist. That's awesome. Buyer mistakes. Um, Home buying glossary. Wow. Okay. Well, like we think, oh, like we know this. This is so easy, but like people buying a house typically don't know these things. So that's kind of nice. That's a nice touch. Let's build your buying plan. That's not too bad. Okay, not too bad. So, all right. Sweet. So we can download this if you want, which I do. It's pretty cool. You're a Georgia home buyer guy. That's really cool. Okay, now I want to go to usage and see how much of that it used, if any. So let's go over here to your name, go to settings, and then go to usage. And let's see what it says here. So interesting. So I wonder if it just limits people that are not paying for it. What do you think? Probably. Cool. Okay. So should every agent stop using Claude because now we have ChatGPT Work? Well, I don't think so. Well, just like Sarah was saying earlier, she uses both and she wants to keep both. And um, so that's interesting. Claude might be a really strong choice for certain document review tasks. Some of those things that are just more advanced on because ChatGPT is just now starting to roll this out. But the ChatGPT work changes the comparison because it's no longer just a chat AI. So it can take larger assignments now. It can take files, which is something it wasn't doing before. It would take your images, but not files. So what's cool too is that you can, upload a whole like inspection report or a whole like any kind of report like that, and it'll read the whole thing right away and then give you a summary. So both ChatGPT and Claude can do that now. So the real lesson is not that ChatGPT copied Claude, it's that both companies are moving from AI that simply answers your questions to AI that helps us complete actual work and actual tasks. So for agents or anybody that runs a business, that means the advantage is not going to come from knowing which company released the features first. It's going to become like which one will come from building better workflows for you. So just don't ask Chat AI to give you a random caption every morning. You want to give it a business goal, information, your standards, um, and then reuse that work across your business. So the assignment I want to give you today is to choose one thing you're already creating repeatedly. So like that's a buyer's guide, or maybe you already have a buyer's guide and you need a seller's guide. This would be a great chance to like just like throw one together. You'd be done in like 5 minutes. Um, a listing campaign, stuff like that. Consultation, presentation, which I will say as well, since we do have luxury presence, I've been using the presentation feature in luxury presence and it's very, very nice. It looks very nice. And my clients like it so far. I've used it for a few times. So again, like, because I'm not one to be like, well, you should use it in this because you can. Like, I feel like if we have a really good thing that's very effective, there's no reason not to use that. So if you have luxury presence, use luxury presence. Um, but that is it, guys. It's kind of just all what I wanted to go over because I just wanted you guys to understand that new update. Did you guys have any questions about this one? Anything you're disappointed in with it or um, any questions? There's so much more we could go over. There's so much to it, but for us, I just try to keep it as simple as I can, and I don't want to overcomplicate it. So, but anyway, that is it for today, guys. I will see you next time. Bye.